Hello everybody and welcome back to Operation Logistics, where we are testing to see if our trigger for stopping the tutorial here for the for the demolition is actually working. So we need to go through our tutorial here real quick. Great job. Surveying land. X levels. Purchasing land. We'll go into land management or land purchasing mode. And then we will purchase this duplex. There we go. We will demolish the duplex. We're in demolition mode. And it didn't work. Excellent. Not a player-owned hex. Yeah. Okay, so why didn't that work? Because this is on selecting post office. Oh boy. And this should be in on demolition. Well, that'll do the trick. Okay. We'll put that back to where it was. Excellent. And we'll try this again. As soon as it compiles, and as soon as the biome hexes generate on up. It'll take a little bit here, but not too long. Come on. One of these days. There we go. Okay, so I guess A apostrophe this time. That's fine. Surveying land, blah blah blah. Hex levels, blah blah blah. Purchasing land, land management, buy land. Excellent. We're going to buy this storefront. Excellent. We're going to go ahead and demolish the storefront. Like so, and it didn't work. Uh-huh. So why didn't it work? Element 9 here is this one. Unpause on selecting post office is unimplemented. So we need to be in here, element 8. Unpause on demolition. So if script.method equals null, then we set the script.method to be unpause on demolition and should unpause equals false. That doesn't seem to have done the trick. So I think we can go ahead and get rid of this, and we may have to do a different method of detection. Which is a wee bit unfortunate. Yeah, I figured that would happen. Okay, there we go. So in the business, I mean, if tutorial script.method equals tutorial script.unpause on demolition, what do we actually have exposed in our tutorial script? Element 9. If tutorial script dot elements tutorial script dot current index dot method equals tutorial script dot unpause on demolition, tutorial script dot elements tutorial script dot current index dot unpause. That could work. I don't know if it's going to return true here. I mean, we could do the same thing, or alternately, we could do in advisor script, we could do a public advisor script element, and advisor script element is a subset of advisor object, but current element. And we're going to do just a get, and this is going to return elements current index. There. That's going to make things much easier for us in the business here, because now instead of doing all of this, we can just do tutorial script dot current element. Same thing here. Current element. And then we can do same thing there. Now that should work, if I'm understanding what's going wrong here correctly. And I think I am. So then it's going to have us go into construction mode, and then if we enter construction mode, we're going to need to know what building we're constructing, which means we're going to need some prefabs for constructible buildings. And for now, they don't really have to be anything special, but let's just make sure that this tutorial is working here. Great job. Surveying land. Yep. Hex levels. Come on in here, purchasing land. We will go to buy land next. And let's purchase this warehouse. It's a bad idea, but it's, you know, not amazingly important right now. We're in demolition mode. We'll demolish this warehouse. Kaboom! That building's history. Next, we're going to construct our own building. Enter construction mode through the toolbar, and then navigate to delivery and sorting, then finally, post office. Okay, so we are in the delivery and sorting, and then postal office. So we're in interaction mode construction, but I don't think that that actually put in a prefab or anything. So let's hop into our toolbar here and go on down here into the postal office button. What does that actually do? Business.onEnter construction mode. Okay. So that's all it does, is enter construction mode. So we are going to need to be able to tell it all of the construction types. Let's go into our building hex here. We've got this big ol' enum, or rather this big ol' switch statement. Was it in our building hexes? Or was it in our building? Or was it biome hex? I don't think it was here. I'm trying to remember where the big ol' switch statement was, where we can get our buildings from the enum. Manager.getBiomeHex from index. So that's in building hex.manager, which is of type hex manager. So that's in here for the get biome type by index, or the get biome type. So I'm gonna guess the sub hex manager is the one with the big ol' enum. Yeah, this looks right. Yes. Okay. Fantastic. Now, I wish we could pass an enum in to the building, but that's not really an option, unfortunately. Like, I would love to just say on enter construction mode, building. Like, that would be amazing if we could do that. But alas, I'm pretty certain that we can't. Yep. It just doesn't show up. We can't pass in an enum that way. But again, it would be really, really super handy. But because we can't, we're going to have to do this the hard way. Which means we're going to have to create a whole bunch of functions here. Basically, a function for each of these buttons. Which is going to be like 12-ish functions. 15 functions. So that's, you know, exciting. So, public void on... What do I want to call these? Enter construction postal office mode, I guess we could say. And then we can have this call on enter construction mode. Okay. And now another thing that I'd like to do is we can have... Let's see, we're going to need a game object in here. Most likely. So public game object selected construction. Like so. And then when we do our construction mode, this here, we can say something like if interaction mode is not equal to interaction mode dot construction, then this is fine. Otherwise, we're going to want it to be a little bit more in depth. So we can go ahead and have this be the case. Like, this will be the same thing, but we want to say if, and this is selected construction. So if there's a selected construction, then we want to do interaction mode plus all that, plus, and then the type of building, or rather the building name. So what I'm going to say is system.enum.getName, not denum, enum.getName, and this is going to be type of, hang on, I don't think that's necessary. We can do selected construction.name plus that, like so. Okay. And then if there's not a selected construction, then we can just have it be the standard of this. Oh, come on. There we go. So yeah, if there's no construction selected, then we can just have it be like that. Okay. So on enter construction mode. Then the question is, can we grab this from the hex manager, which I believe we can. Or no, it wasn't in the hex manager. It was in the sub hex manager, which the business does have access to. So building hex manager, I think it has access through the hex manager. Manager? Nope. Does the business not have... The business doesn't have access to any manager. Seems weird. Why is that the case? I don't know, but it needs to not be the case. So, public hex manager manager. Okay. So the business needs to have a reference here. So as soon as it compiles, there we go. We'll toss in the manager here. I don't think that went. Nope, it did not. There we go. And now that we have access to the manager, we can say manager, or rather selected construction equals manager dot building hex manager dot get what did I call it? Get prefab from building enum. And this is going to be building dot postal office. Okay. There we go. So we can then change this from on enter construction mode on the postal office button to business.onEnterConstruction postal office mode. And theoretically, I'm going to go ahead and skip the tutorial because we don't have that set up, but theoretically we should be able to very easily just create ourselves a we'll be able to see the interaction mode. It won't actually create the building yet for sure, but let's hop on up here. We'll need to purchase this land, purchase this storefront. We'll need to demolish this storefront like so, and then construct the postal office. Interaction mode construction. Well, let's check our business here. Selected construction is still none. Oh, I bet we just don't have a prefab set up in the building hex manager. Yep, that's correct. Okay. So, we should go ahead and create some prefabs then. So we'll go into buildings, and we'll create a new folder, and this will be the player constructions. Okay, and then we'll create a new folder, delivery and sorting. And for right now, I'm going to create an empty, and we're going to put a parent, or we're going to put a child inside of that. We'll place it at 0, 0, 0. And in fact, I kind of want to have there be a, like, cube inside of it. Now, obviously that cube is way too big, so let's check what our scale was supposed to be. 0.01 is the answer. So 0.01, 0.01, 0.01. Okay, and then let's check our positioning of the cube. I think having it there is fine. And I'm going to give it the good old placeholder material. We'll call this building placeholder. And that will be able to replace our road placeholder. We do have a road placeholder there. I guess the road placeholder is fine. We can leave that where it's at. So let's go ahead and put in our prefab here in our player construction. We'll put in the building placeholder and then go ahead and delete that. We don't need it there anymore. And for right now, I'm going to go ahead and put in building placeholder for all of these. We'll replace them later on as we implement each one. So hangar, loader crane, postal office, railroad. I don't think that one took. Indeed it did not. Railroad depot, runway, ship berth, sorting facility, staging area, and finally truck berth. Excellent. Okay. So now it should come up that we are constructing a building placeholder. Theoretically. So let's go ahead and run this. Make sure that it actually does. Skip the tutorial, since we're not too keen on that right now. We'll enter by land mode. We will purchase this duplex. Demolish the duplex. And then we will go into postal office. Interaction mode, construction. Building placeholder. And of course, building it doesn't actually work. But that's okay. So in our business, let's go ahead and create in our balance variables public float base construction cost equals, and we'll go with 500F for right now. Okay. So at that point, then in the building hex, the construction is basically going to be the inverse of the demolition here. And we can also go into our business here and do a public void on construct, or on construction is fine. And we will go ahead and copy this in, unpause on construction, which doesn't exist yet. Okay, we will go ahead and come in here. We will implement unpause on construction. I'm just going to copy this, paste it in, unpause on construction, unpause on construction. There we go. So we now have an unpause on construction option, as well as an unpause on selecting post office, which we could implement actually right now. So let's go ahead and do that. Else if method equals unpause on selecting post office if xmanager.business.selected construction. We're going to have to change how we're doing this. Okay, so in the business up here, rather than this being a game object, this is going to actually have to be a building. And then we can actually get rid, I think, of the hex manager. So if the selected construction equals building.postal office, then I just wanted to do that to get that error out of the way. So if selected construction is not equal to building.none, okay, this manager is inaccessible due to its protection level. Right? Because we don't need this anymore. Building.postal office. And then building doesn't have a name because we're going to have to go back to the system.enum.getName. So let's go ahead and bring this down onto a separate line. And rather than doing this, we will do system.enum.getName type of building. And this will be selected construction, like so. Okay, we now have no errors. Excellent. In our advisor object here, just simply should unpause equals true. Fantastic. So unpause on selecting post office is now set up. And then the demolition and construction will work the same way. They will be prompted by this action right here on construction and on demolish. Okay, so let's see how our tutorial script is set up. Same name field is serialized multiple times in Business Manager. We removed Manager. I think you'll find that we removed that. I think we're fine. Okay, so this is unpause on demolition. This is unpause on selecting postal office. I'm going to duplicate this guy and have this be unpause on construction. So we'll call this time for something new. And then we will say something along the lines of, now that we've cleared the land, let's build something a little more useful. We're already in... Okay, so kaboom, time for something new. Now that we've cleared the land, we're already in the we're already in construction mode for a postal office. Just left click on the hex to construct it. Okay, and then unpause on construction. And then for 11, we would do something probably along the lines of, now we're in business. We've got ourselves a post office now. It's got one slot for a delivery vehicle, and it also can sort a small volume of mail. Okay, so it's got one slot for a delivery vehicle built in. It can sort a small volume of mail. It's not dedicated for either of those purposes. It's more planned to be a it's not supposed to serve a large group of people. So it's got one slot for a delivery vehicle. And it can also sort a small volume of mail. Just one problem. We don't have a delivery vehicle. Select the hex in what interaction mode? Do we need a new interaction mode? Like a selection mode? Or just interaction mode.none? Exit construction mode by clicking on the construction button, then select the hex to continue. Okay. We're going to have it be no function for now. I do need to put a cut in here, though, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. And next episode, we'll see if these things are somewhat working. I mean, we're going to need to fully implement construction, and that's not done yet. But we'll see how much of this is working next time. See you all then.